Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty, of liberty. Are we truly liberated if things like what happened to George Floyd is allowed to happen here today in America?
I'm Jameer.
And I'm Deandra.
And we thank you for tuning in to
Meet the Nicholsons,
a place where we discuss faith, family, fun, finances, and relationships.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Relationships. Describe in one word for me the relationships, the state of the relationship between white America and black America right now.
I would say stressed.
I would say fragile. What do you guys think? Answer in the comments. How is it for you, babe? Being a black male in America and watching the footage of what happened to George Floyd, how has that impacted you?
It's really hurtful, makes you angry, saddened as well. Like most African American males my age, I would assume. But the thing that surprises me, the emotion that surprises me, is like the frustration with familiarity.
Oh, familiarity. That is the biggie.
It's just happening again and again and again. And it's like, when does it stop?
I've even seen people on Facebook with shirts that say, "I can't breathe again." Mm-hmm. Meaning, Eric Gardner couldn't breathe.
Yeah, 2014, yeah.
And now George Floyd couldn't breathe.
Right.
At the hand of a white police officer. Cruel, inhumane, unacceptable. I didn't really grasp, as we were having a discussion with our boys about this incident, and as we showed them the video, I didn't grasp the severity of it.
Okay.
It was almost like it was surreal. Like, we're dealing with COVID-19. We're dealing with this. It's just blow after blow after blow. Why don't you tell everybody about the discussion we had with the boys?
Okay. So we did decide to show them the video because we are raising young black males. I thought that it was fitting, considering the times, and to show them that there is kind of like an unspoken etiquette that black men in America have when it comes to figures of authority. Not only that, but people who may be racist or prejudiced. In the case of Ahmaud Arbery, when you're presented with such hostility like that, I think it is fitting to go over things like that with your children. I encourage you all to do the same.
Right. They have to know specifically why they're hated or why they're looked at as a threat.
Right.
They have to know that because the color of their skin, they may be treated unfairly, that they may be murdered. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It's not fair.
Your very culture is considered a crime.
Right.
That's what I would say. And I mean, we've had the conversation with them where I let them know, hey, even the way you wear your hair can be taken with some prejudice.
You know what my biggest fear is about this whole thing? When talking to our younger son, Ramaj, he is, very intelligent, but he has a delayed response where he's processing. And so he takes a moment to respond because he's thinking about what he wants to say. And my biggest fear is that a police officer will pull him over, or someone in the community will see him and question him. And then while he's processing, they are taking that as him being defiant.
Yeah.
And then they open fire, or they decide to put a knee in his neck, or whatever the case may be. It terrifies me to think about that. are we truly free? If we have to think about this, are we truly free if we have to prepare our children to be African American? Babe, how do we move on from here? Practically, what are some practical things we can do concerning the African American community to move on and to ensure that this stuff like this cease?
Well, I think it has to deal with empowerment a great deal. We have to empower one another, as just as a black community.
Right.
There's so much division amongst us, which affects us greatly.
Yeah.
And included with that, I would say we need to empower ourselves to become financially stable as a community. We were tuned into a podcast with a very famous motivational speaker, and he explained how when he was in California, he noticed that some Jewish children in particular, were going on a field trip. And it wasn't like to a zoo or an amusement park where like we're used to going. It was actually to a bank. And that spoke volumes about, that community and how they place their values on things considering financial well-being of their generations to come. So I think we need to encourage each other to have that exposure. Exposure is the main key.
Right. You're saying take less focus off of
take more
focus onto things like, teaching our children how to build wealth,
right,
so that we have a power, so that we have a voice,
yes,
right, and do less things like be concerned about what sneakers we're wearing on our feet and how we look on the outside, again, which is another, to me, the African American community's concern with their outward appearance has a lot to do with systemic racism.
Yeah.
Because if we start to feel like we're less than because of our skin color, we try to overcompensate. Oh, I may be less than, but I'm gonna be more than when I buy this $250 pair of Jordans.
So you mean overcompensate by appearance?
Appearance, right? By spending money elsewhere. We gotta train our generation and this next generation on how to build wealth so that we have power. That's awesome, babe. What else could we do?
Outside of that, I would say mentorship is a big deal.
Yes.
Just because I'm guilty of it, I'm sure a lot of others, black males, are guilty of it, where you see a group of kids and you assume that, well, they're just like me, maybe when I was younger, where I didn't want to hear it, you know what I mean? But again, that key point that we want to take away is exposure. So we have to expose them to black engineers.
Right.
So that I think, babe, when you touched on our appearance, well, your appearance is part of your self-esteem. I think that self-esteem will be affected if you don't see someone that looks like you in that banker's position.
Right.
Or if you don't see someone that looks like you down to firemen and policemen.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
I think exposure to those things will in turn build us up as a community.
It will. Because I've heard a lot of people say that the officer who put his knee in George Floyd's neck could not have looked at our race as being human.
Okay.
And I've heard Bishop Jakes, among others, allude to the Constitution where, we're not considered 100% human being. So certain things, living in America, we don't have the same liberties. So I believe what will help is to show forth that. And what I'm trying to say is, if we would make a conscientious effort to build relationships with our white counterparts, I guess showing Sally down the street that, hey, I am human. Come and break bread with me. Come and watch a movie with me and my family. Bring your family over. Let's take a family trip together. Let me show you just how human I am in this relationship. I believe it takes us to enrich our own community, but it also takes exposure to their community.
Right.
and us integrating together. Because let's face it, God has no favorites.
Right. So, babe, what do you say to the people who don't want to do that because they're largely the problem?
Oh, I just pray for you and let it go. But what happens is when the majority is willing, then we win.
Kind of like what you see now. A lot of people or businesses mainly are changing the way they do business and are more inclusive of our community.
Right. Oh my goodness. So many big companies are even Facebook. They got the fist up, kind of.
And this is brought to you on Juneteenth, so happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. We got on our black.
And I also wanted to, with Juneteenth, I guess.
We'll do another episode on that. But listen, guys, we wanted to just have a discussion and see what you think. I know we've been hearing about this over and over, but it's not over. It's over when we have victory, when we are truly able to be liberated in society and looked at as equals. That's when it's over. So we wanted to discuss it. We want to hear your comments. What are some practical steps you think we can take to ensure stuff like this never happens again?
So that's our 2 cents, guys.
2 cents.
Appreciate you guys watching and tuning in again.
All right, guys. Until next time.
See you.